This is our Forex blog for August 8th, 2012, and like we do most days, we want to buy the strong ones versus the weak and sell the weakest versus the strong. Our real-time tools on the top show in histogram form the strength, the real-time strength or weakness of the yen on the top and the Swiss and euro on the bottom. And this is made up of 5 different tools. 3 of them measure the direction and 2 of them measure the intensity of the direction. So anytime basically the majority of yen pairs are going up and going up with incredible statistical intensity, then you'll see levels at and above the 80 level here. And underneath that we have the 15-minute trend, hourly trend, daily, weekly, monthly. You can trade just on the real-time trend, but the more longer time frame trends that line up, the better. You can see the euro real-time trend was down today, 15-minute, hourly, daily. The monthly, the monthly on the bottom's down. Yeah, the weekly happens to still be up, but the majority of trends are down. So you want to trade that on the short side versus whatever pair's strongest. The dollar had a little bit of strength, then weakness for a long time, strength again, and you can see the yen was clearly stronger earlier in the day than the dollar was. So one of the no-brainer trades would be to look at the euro yen and look for sells. So bringing up the euro yen chart here, the first thing to notice is our value area lines. This is a new tool we released last week. I spend about 10 minutes every night looking at the daily value areas, and they show you that on the chart. I make them stand out by putting a little bit of gray above and below the colors. You can see the value area low. This is, the value areas where 68% of the previous day's trading activity or volume happened, and the area that had the most activity is in yellow. Underneath that, you want to look for sells, and above the yellow area, you want to look for buys, and this acts as incredible support resistance. Once it broke underneath this level, it's very likely to continue down. You have a nice short here, 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 and here, and once it hits our lower 3.0 band, that's usually where it reverses. If the momentum to the downside runs out, you can look to do a counter trend trade, and you can see it went back up about 35 pips there. You can see the pound today about 6 o'clock became really strong. 15-minute, hourly, daily all shifted up with incredible intensity. So what was one of the weaker ones at 6? Well, you can see the dollar, the weekly, monthly trend are down. The real-time trend was up for a little bit until about 3, and pretty much from 3 to 6:30, the dollar was down. So especially 6 to 6:30, you have some very high probability pound dollar buys. And this is underneath the value area again. When that happens, notice how it acts as resistance here. Nice trade there. You might have gone short here, gone short. Once it breaks back above this level, these things kind of act like magnets. If it breaks back into the range of yesterday, now notice this isn't the low of yesterday. The low of yesterday is right here. This is where 68% of the activity happened. And I also show the weekly value area. So we are starting the day off underneath last week's value area, and you can see yesterday that level was the high of the day. Those weekly levels are so strong that markets will come to them, and there's major selling there. And it happened to be yesterday's high for a very good reason, and our traders knew about that from Sunday. Real-time strength is there. When this breaks back into the value area, it's almost acts like a magnet. You could have bought this if you weren't already in it before, somewhere around 56.20, and you have 56.50 as your profit target. Anytime you risk 6 to 10 pips and you have a very good chance of making 30 pips, you got to pull the trigger. The real-time momentum was up, the 15 was up. At that time, the hourly shifted up, and the daily is up. The weekly and monthly trend really are not that weak. It's not blood red here. And so you're not fighting any longer-term forces. Pretty much easy 30 pips there. I'm just going to showcase some of these currencies. Here's the euro dollar. Notice today this starts underneath the point of control of yesterday. This is where the most trading activity happened. You scroll back and look at yesterday, you can kind of see that visually on the chart. A lot of time in this area. Notice all the activity here, all the bars right around here. This is the point of control of the previous day. It's where most traders have their position. So if people had bought there, guess what? If it goes underneath that area, they're losing money. So that's why we use this. It's not only amazing support resistance, but it's also a great filter. So we knew ahead of time, starting back last night or yesterday around 2 in the afternoon, to be looking for sells sells, came down my fib level last night. Nice little rally here. This is one easy way if you're wanting a decent entry method. Just simply put a moving average on the chart. Our new one, it's called digital signal processing. This is much faster than a regular or exponential moving average. And by using a 5-period moving average shifted 2 bars to the right and using it on a range chart, it is a phenomenal entry. One of our signals said to go short here, but just simply wait for the moving average to get hit, and you get short somewhere around 84, and maybe you're out right here at 60. Nice 24 pip win. Now don't use this on tiny pullbacks, but any decent pullback, 15 to 25 pips, wait for that, you get short, you made a little bit. It's kind of going sideways here, never was able to go back up, you get short again, and it's also a great exit. Just simply look at the chart and use a common sense. If it goes down with a lot of weakness and it goes up with no statistical strength and it's underneath the point of control, you go short. It's that simple. Here's the pound yen. Notice where the low today was. You will be shocked at how good our value areas are. This is the previous week's value area low. It's major support. There's a ton of positions from the value area low to the value area high, and you will find both the value area low, high, and the point of control, which on the weekly chart shows up. You can see these are wider. The previous day's value area low was right here. Once it breaks, it's very likely to go down, 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 down. Great profit target level. And this is, if you're looking to do a counter trend trade, notice fell with a lot of weakness, a little bit less, a little bit less. If you want to do counter trend trades by using our simple digital signal processing based moving average, you can do so. This is very fast, and by displacing it 2 bars to the right, it allows you to have a fast moving average, but eliminate some of the whipsaws. So wait for it to hit one of these key support areas. If there's not that much weakness, simply buy it when it goes back above here, and this could be your profit target. Previous day's value area low, and the market did stall there for a good 20 minutes before it went higher. Let's take a look at some of the other ones on here. Here's the dollar Swiss above yesterday's value area high and the point of control. The point of control can be at or a pip below the value area high or low, or it can be somewhere in the middle. It's where most activity happened yesterday. And once we determine that point, we find where 68% of the trading activity happened above and below it. And most of the activity happened below it in this range. So it was above it, broke above it last night. Notice major resistance. It also happens to be near the previous week's low. So you start looking for buys. Nice pullback buy. I don't even have to put it on here, but you can imagine the 5-period moving average shifted to the right would have had you in right here. 15 pips, maybe 10 to 15 pips on that one too. And I'm just going to showcase some of these. Notice the dollar CAD. The high today was the value area high of yesterday. And again, this is where most of the activity happened, somewhere between here and here. You can see that was the low. This was the high. It did most of its activity there. It's not a coincidence that it couldn't get above this level. It can't get below the value area low either. And it's stuck chopping around inside this zone. You don't want to buy and sell or sell a currency that has these areas so close to it. Wait for it to break down, go short, and if you just simply used our trailing stop, you would have got out somewhere here at 44 and made 14, 15 pips on this. And again, notice how our lower containment bands worked. These are very valuable levels. Notice where the high was on this move up. The value area low of yesterday. Notice the actual low of the day was probably somewhere around down here. It's 30 or 40 pips away from the low of the day. Came back up to that level, found resistance, came down here, and it didn't have that much strength going back up, so I wouldn't have taken that trade. Plus the profit target level's right here. It happened to go above it, and guess where it stopped? Right at the point of control of the previous day. This is where most activity happened. This yellow line right here. You can see that's where the most trading activity happened, from 6 the previous night to 6 the next day. That's the price. That's where most traders have positions. So anybody who bought at that level, when it comes up to that level, they were down and losing money all day. They're going to exit their trade at break even. And that's why the point of control, the yellow and orange for the weekly, work so amazingly well. Notice the low today, last week's value area low. So it's sensitive, actually value area high because it's green. So this is a wonderful support level. This is telling you that Last week the market went up. We had a pullback. The longer term trend, you can see the monthly trend is very strong. Pretty decent place to buy as long as there's not that much weakness. Once the weakness disappears, you have some profitable trades there. Here's the Australian yen. Notice the resistance at yesterday's value area low. It's not the low of the day. The low of the day is right here. It's all the way up here. This is an area that pretty much the biggest traders in the world know about, and probably 99.999999% of retail traders and new traders have no idea what these things are. But they work, and I spend 10 minutes every night putting it up on our server so that you can see these on your charts. You just load your charts, they're automatically there like magic. But it does take me about 10 minutes to do this, and our software is very sophisticated and calculates these trades. If you put it on a daily or a weekly chart, add the value, volume profile chart, it calculates all these, and I get those numbers, put them on our website, and then our software downloads it and puts it on this chart here.